Hi, my name is Numer Haq, and today I will be talking to you about my big question, which is what makes a job valued in society? As you can see here from this pie chart I've created for my classmates' responses to the question of which jobs deserve to be paid the most. Their options were teacher, athlete, military personnel, government officials, doctor, musician, lawyer, engineer, and garbage man or woman. They are instructed to choose three of these jobs. And as you can see, majority of the people said doctors should be paid the most with 35%. And I heavily agree with this because they work very hard day in, day out and save people's lives. Teachers are also very popular in people's choices with 20%. This could be due to the fact that they work very hard and they are what builds our future. Not to forget that they spend hours of their own time outside of school grading papers and they don't even get paid for it because it's not during school hours. Also at 20%, military personnel was also very popular. I support this fully because they protect our country, keep us safe, yet they have one of the lowest salaries in the country with around $42,000 a year. This diagram shows the average salaries of a few jobs. The average NFL player makes about $2.1 million a year, and surgeons who save lives on a daily basis make about $380,000 a year, as you can see from this diagram, which is still a lot of money. Personally, I think surgeons should make more money than athletes. Some people might argue that athletes work very hard every day and put in lots of effort. But how do they really benefit us? What do they do for us that allows them to make so much money? Some people may also argue that they entertain people and people pay money to watch them. And while that is true, would you rather pay lots of money to watch someone play sports or pay someone lots of money to save your life? I also read a quote from an article that I read. Each basket Kobe Bryant scores earns him equivalent to the average teacher's yearly salary. A big part of how much money a job makes or how it is valued to society is how long you have been doing your job. Because I think it isn't fair for someone who has been working for only 1 year to be making way more money than someone who's been working for 20 years. Because also, if you're going to hire a lawyer, you're more likely to hire someone more experienced, like someone who has been working for 20 years rather than someone who's only been working as a lawyer for 1 year. Another important thing is job titles. As in, if you are a manager or an executive, you will likely have a higher pay grade than someone with the job title junior or assistant, according to an article I read by Ronald Woltoff. A big factor of how your job should be valued over other jobs is how hard you work. Like as I mentioned before, teachers work very hard outside of school on their own time grading papers and making worksheets. And I read from an article by Emily Swanson that stated 50% of Americans said they would be willing to pay higher taxes if it meant more money towards teachers. I don't think there is anything more important than how hard you work for valuing your job to society. That is why I think athletes should still get paid good money, but just not millions of dollars a year. I took a survey of which occupation people think should be paid more, doctors or athletes. 58% of people said doctors should be paid more, and 42% of people said athletes should be paid more. Don't you think it would be great to make millions of dollars a year just to play sports? But do those athletes really deserve it? In my mind, they don't at all. Professional athletes are making way too much money in a society where salaries and wages are based on the value of someone's work. Teaching is one of the most important jobs because they're what builds the children of our generation to become what they want to be. If a kid has bad teachers who are inexperienced their whole life, it might be more challenging to be successful. But if someone has good teachers that are highly qualified, it could be easier to be successful. However, some may argue that teachers only provide service to a single classroom. Superstar athletes are entertaining fans all around the world, enticing people with the feeling of excitement. While I do understand that making it into the pros is not an easy thing to do, and it takes a lot of hours of hard work and dedication every day to earn a job in professional sports, these people do nothing more than entertain the public. And it isn't fair that some of these people in professional sports are cheating and not even playing to the rules, and they're still making millions. Think about Jamarcus Russell, a former number one overall pick in the NFL draft. He was on a 6-year, $68 million contract, and he was guaranteed $31 million. And put this in simpler terms, that means even though he is recognized as one of the worst players of all time, and even if he were to get injured and never play again, he would still be guaranteed $31 million. In any other job, if you don't perform to your expectations, you're fired. There is no guaranteed money. I conducted a few interviews asking people what makes a high paying job to see what they think should make someone earn a lot of money. A lot of people had similar answers about how it impacts society and the future. Some people said how much work is put into it, or how it can influence the generation, or how much sacrifice is put into the job.
Survival of the fit, only the strong survive.